Alright. Can you guys hear me? Let me know in the chat. You know how the voice level is compared to the music. If you guys can understand me good and everything. If you can, I will go ahead and get the video going.
Face to face, I found my pain beneath the lies and broken dreams. Lost the love I had in me. It tore me apart, fade away. I felt so lost, but I held onto what I had.
Hey Kelsey, how are you doing? Alright, there we go. Hey everybody. How's everybody doing today? Let's see, we should have a little boop. There we go. Desk shot. So what we've got going on today, guys, we have an Armattan 6-inch rooster here. And actually, let me go ahead and just swap it to this one. And we are going to be swapping out the flight controller in it. Yeah, guys, show you real quick what's happening when I actually, let me do it this way. You guys can see the video here. Sorry about that. So when I plug it up, if you guys can see that there. Exhilarating, printing some VTX mounts and stuff. It's already screaming at me. Why are you screaming at me? That's weird. That's different than what it was acting a minute ago. Anyway, give me just a minute. Looks like we're getting that lovely no gyro error. I don't know if any of you guys have ever seen that before, but can be frustrating. Now it just wants to squeal. It doesn't want to do anything. Strange. Anyway, so obviously we've got flight controller problems. Just to give you guys a rundown, basically I installed an RX on this and was able to get it to ARM, and everything acted fine. Took it out, did a test flight, test hover, and now it is intermittently acting up. Basically sometimes it will want to act right, sometimes it doesn't. Other times it's beeping and screaming, and then other times it's stating no gyro error when I try to ARM it. So what we're going to do, I was trying to show you guys that on the OSD, but it just wants to scream, so we won't even worry about it. So what we're going to do, we've got a brand new CL F4S here. Macaroni, a real quick tip, or how I was able to troubleshoot this. Anybody that's running a flight controller with OSD, there's a slider for errors, or like arming errors, and what that does is basically when you arm, if it won't allow you to arm, it will tell you why in your OSD. So if you guys ever are out at the field and you're having problems with arming, throw on your goggles real quick, click it on off if you've got OSD, and it should tell you, if you've got that ticker selected, what your problem is, so you can hopefully fix it. Just a quick tip. It's kind of one of those things none of us ever think to do, is like look in the goggles, you know. So let's see. Hey, Exhilarating, what's going on, Barry? Let's give some shouts out real quick. Got drone review man of all drones, Kelsey. What's going on, Kelsey? Macaroni, Tickle, hey buddy, and Turtle and Exhilarating. How are you guys? So yeah, check that out, man. It's one of those things, like I said, I forget to do it a lot myself. Yeah, when this quad wouldn't arm, I just happened to be checking the video signal on my little screen, and on this little tactic screen and noticed that it said no gyro. So, yeah. It's pretty much a direct swap. It's not going to be too terrible, thankfully. It's, you know, all the little sliders, Macaroni, like where it gives you the different options. That should be errors, I think so. Yeah. Yeah, Kelsey, I have had a no gyro on a few different boards in the past. It's not super common, but it does happen. And actually, that's probably the most prevalent way that I have personally killed flight controllers, just out of age of use. That's the error that ends up killing them generally after, you know, 6-8 months or whatever. And one way to tell that you're not getting the gyro, when it goes to arm, you won't ever get those 3 ESC beeps either. The dun, 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 you know, like after you set it down and it sits level. So, anyhow, let me see. I think I can zoom in here for you guys a little bit. Yeah, turtle. Is what it is, man. Don't stress it. Not the end of the world. There we go. There's a little zoom in. Sounds like we got some batteries done. So, first thing we're going to do is remove all of our connections from the old board here. So, iron is warm. Whenever you guys are swapping, if you ever have to do this, swap a flight controller, make sure that you pay attention to things like, for this flight controller, for instance, there's a 5-volt or a 9-volt selection, jumpers, things like that. It could be on the underside of the board. What's up, Ryan? How are you, buddy? Double A, how's it going, brother? Obviously, on a lot of the newer flight controllers, they give options like that. You've got, you know, different inversion, uninversion, different voltage selections, and a lot of that nowadays is being done by jumpers or solder blobs. So just pay attention to that and make sure that you don't have to worry about anything like that. Yeah, the 9-volt does seem to be preferred for VTXs. Obviously, a non-5-volt VTX. That's one thing I like about this receiver that's on this quad. It's the RXs I receiver, and it will actually accept up to 10 volts too. So we didn't have to change anything there. It says 5 volts on the package of the actual electronics package, but if you look at the literature, it shows 3.5 up to 10 on the new RXs I. Now I'm not sure about the old one. I have to get my other iron out maybe on some of these connections for the putting them back. Yeah, let's get the big boy going. Bear with me just a second, guys. Got to plug in this other iron. we go. Ryan coming through with the super chat. Thanks, buddy. I have to do that. Appreciate that. Could be like all the fancy video game streamers and have Ryan tell me what he wants me to do for donations. What's going on, Tattoo Rod? How are you, brother? We're getting warm here, are we? Yeah. Drone review, man. I use the HD3s. I did start out with a set of Kylan box goggles. They're super good for the money, man. They're like 60 bucks or something. They don't have DVR, but as for what you get for the dollars, they're really good. If I was going to get box goggles today and had unlimited budget, I'd probably say the Transformers, I think they are, by Fat Shark. And I know they weren't very popular, I don't think, so you might be able to catch those on sale too. I know Bardwell did a review of some box goggles. I think they were FXT brand. Hey Mary, how are ya? To get music, this is actually another YouTube channel that's playing in the background, and I'm just pumping the sound in and out through. The no copyright YouTube channel, so I'm hoping it will actually be no copyright. Okay. Now, this is another quick tip. You probably don't, most of you guys probably aren't going to need this tip, but it's a good tip for somebody who maybe hasn't built a lot of drones, or say you built your first drone and you've got to swap out your flight controller. Take yourself a piece of paper. And, certain connections, the ESCs, etc., pretty easy to understand, right? You've got this corner, you've got your ESC, positive, negative, big pads, positive, negative, and one signal lead. So there's not a lot of the stuff there that you really need to worry about. But when you get into your UARTs, your video transmitter, your receiver, if you don't write those things down, when you go back to solder them onto your new flight controller, you could get them swapped up or, mess something up. So I always like to just take some notes. What I'll normally do is draw a diagram of the flight controller, just like a square. You guys can see that. And if there's any pads in particular, so if I look up here, I can see the camera. We have got the cam control, and that's blue. Got cam signal, yellow, and of course your power and ground, red and black. Then we move over here to the RX. We've got telemetry.
It's all here.
S-bus. And then of course positive and negative there. And down here we have our VTX. So we're gonna have signal, yellow, positive, negative, and then smart audio, white. And smart audio is TX4. Telemetry is, on this particular flight controller, it's UART3. And then the S-bus is UART1. So, there you go. So now you can do whatever you want. Something happens, you have to leave your house, whatever, you're in the middle of it. You come back and you're not like, oh my god, where do these connections go? I forgot which UART I was running. I mean, it's not the end of the world, most things, but if you're running anything that's like inverted or uninverted, or those kinds of things, you've done any special sort of manipulation there, that's when you're going to see some issues. So Yeah, take a picture. That's a good suggestion. John Cuppy just made. Very good suggestion. Take a picture, yeah. Hey, Enoch, what's going on, buddy? So, now that we've got all that good stuff labeled, let's go ahead and pull the VTX off. Yeah, Enoch, I was hoping to do a whoop build or several other builds, but this one, the last customer stuff I was working on, actually ran into some more problems after testing. So now I'm having to swap the flight controller on it. Great. Okay. Another little quick tip as well. Take your lead and plug it into whatever it goes to. So in this case, VTX. Another way to not get those mixed up. Sorry about the mic action, guys. I know it's probably, I'll try to raise it here. It's probably hard to handle. Guys, don't be too hypercritical of my soldering here. Obviously, bridges and such, the flight controller's dead, so I'm really not that concerned about it. Just so you know. So, just getting all the connections off. Hey, what's going on, Headshot? Let me know, guys, if you like it better with the music or not. Probably not talking quite as much because of it. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. So, you guys tell me what you like. That's what matters. I'm fine either way myself. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. I've put a little bit of effort into getting this looking good for you guys. Hopefully, hopefully it shows. It's been quite a while since I've honestly had to do any of that kind of stuff myself. So, all right. So the bottom side of the flight controller, I've actually not had a lot of a chance to look at. The way they build them in the factory, they're pretty tight and kind of tough to access the bottom. So I did want to look it over and just make sure I didn't see any solder bridges or blobs or anything that would, you know, lend me to think that's what caused our issues. But I'm not really seeing much of anything, unfortunately. And I may go back, you know, take this flight controller, just look it over, maybe reflow some things and try it out. I have had them work in the past, but I don't think I've ever recovered one with a no gyro error. If any of you guys out there have done that, let me know. John, no, I've only ever done FPV streaming. I DJ'd some radio shows and stuff in the past, but that was audio only. Pedro, yeah. AA, yeah, you could swap just the gyro if you really wanted to. It's surface mount. I believe on this board it's right, that very center critter there. So you're looking at, gosh, looks like about 32 connections roughly, and they're all surface mount. It's not something that would be easy, I'll put it that way. You would definitely need a hot air station at minimum, and probably some magnifying options as well. It's pretty small. But yeah, I mean, I guess if you really wanted to get fancy, you could swap your gyro.
Chasing whatever kills. For so long I forgot how it feels in the dark of night. Tabletops counting.
And something else to notice too, like if you notice the direction these leads are running, just all kinds of different stuff like that you want to pay attention when you're swapping out, because if you want it to go back exactly like it went together first time anyway, you'll need to repeat all those. So okay, so there we go, everything's disconnected. I'm going to take a look at the bottom. I do see a this showing internal selection for the inverters. So let's check this other stock board. It's also there for the inverter. Another quick pro tip, guys, whatever you want to call it, tip, I don't know, I don't like to consider myself a pro, but if you get a board from the factory and it's got solder blobs on it, so like the 9-volt solder blob, the 5-volt, the inversion solder blobs, any factory solder blob, I personally always reflow them, just because it's, I guess, one of those things you can eliminate. If you do end up having to troubleshoot, you can say, well, I reflowed those, I know it's not an issue. I have in the past had some problems with cold solders on those, and you know, you're chasing down, why is my voltage regulator not outputting voltage, whatever, and next thing you know, oh, all I had to do was reflow that. So I've started doing that kind of from the beginning. So in this instance, I'm going to go ahead and reflow the internal UART inversion joint on the back here.
Open the world of music. New music streaming
Where
service.
is
For all the ways music moves you. Together in
Wick?
one place. Official audio and video. Playlists. Artist radio. Live performances. Covers. Remixes. And the rest of the story you can't find anywhere else. It's all here.
Sorry guys, get this back where you can see it here. There we go. The gyro air AA, for one thing, it wouldn't give me the 3 ESC beeps, you know, that dan 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 at the very end. And then when you look in your goggles, if you have OSD, it will actually tell you what the arming error is. So when I flip the arm switch, it says in the goggles, no gyro. Hey Mike, how's it going? And that's how I was able to determine it. And I actually mentioned that at the beginning of the stream. A lot of people don't think, that's not something they think to do, because you're just not used to wearing your goggles if your quad's not arming, right? So it's kind of one of those things you want to think about. If you get out to the field, you've got OSD, the Betaflight OSD, and you're not arming, you can look in your OSD, it may tell you what the problem is. And we're going to try to just put everything back right like we got it. So there's our buzzer. What's up, Crossfire? Pedro, to be honest, I'm not the hugest soft mounting person in the world. I will use soft mounts to protect the arms and things like that. I'm not generally putting like the little pads just under the motor or stuff like that. So in other words, if there's a secondary purpose like protection, arm protection, I will run soft mount motors. So in other words, either way. Now obviously if you get into an issue where you're having a lot of oscillations, whatever, you can't tune them out, that may be something to look at. But I am a less is more kind of person, so I would say minimal. In other words, I will hard mount the flight controllers, motors, everything, and as long as it's flying good, I don't worry about it. Another one of those things we see a lot of questions, guys. People are worried when they solder their positives and negatives that they're going to, for instance, you can see the shunt resistor here. They're like, oh, I accidentally soldered to that resistor, I need to redo it. That resistor is connected to this side on the positive, so if you solder your lead to, you could even literally solder it right to that side if you wanted to. So same thing with a lot of caps. Sometimes they'll have caps right there, and you can actually look and read the traces a lot of the time and see that it's connected. So another little tip, soldering. When you're soldering these big, huge connections, you take your iron and you've got something like this one. I don't know if you guys can see this tip. It's a chisel. Let's see if I can get it to focus for you guys. There you go. You can kind of see it looks pointed, and it is, but it's got a flat side to it. And so what I'll do is I'll take that flat side, and if you want to say if this is the pad, I'll take the flat side and I'll actually put it down against the tinned pad. I'll take the wire and put it on the top of the soldering iron. So you've got iron down to the pad with the pad tinned. You take your lead that you want to connect and you actually touch it to the top of the iron. That's going to start heating up the lead as well while you're heating up the pad. Then you just pull out and they'll kind of join together. You may or may not need to hit it with a little more heat. You just have to take a look at it. This is a little vise for holding circuit boards AA. It's made by Haus, the same company. It's called an Omnivice, same company that makes a lot of the soldering irons. Very, very good little, handy little guy. Alright, so looks like we're good on that side of things. Go ahead and put her back in the quad. Hey, Algo, how are you? And soft mount, there we go. Thanks, AA, I appreciate that. You guys, bear with me just a minute. I'm going to tin up the pads here.
Just like your mind, like the sun gives into the moon, into the night. Time continues marching, it slowly crawls. With each new one starting, I recall.
Okay, got her all tinned up. So I like to work from the inside out with my wiring. So you bought your first brushed quad, so I still don't need to solder. Well, that's good. Hazard F3 versus F4. Ryan, this one is a Rooster. It's the one with the replaceable arms. As far as F3 and F4s go, guys, I personally prefer the F4s in general, just because they do have more storage space and they're able to actually hold more as the firmware goes forward. I think that we'll see that will actually be the problem with the F3. It's not that it can't run the code, it's that it doesn't have enough space to store it all. Obviously F3 does have the advantage when it comes to FRsky and the inversion, uninverted signals. Generally with F3s you can hook them right up. But just like this F4S has, a lot of companies now are making the F4s with those options. So I think F4 is definitely going to be the way to go in the future, and you'll probably start seeing F7s too. So eventually it'll be F4 or F7 instead of F3. Alright, so now we're at a point where we can get our trusty wiring diagram. And this is going to be our VTX. So it's these 4 connections here. Thanks, Iago. Appreciate that. I've not heard of that program, but I'll look into it. Smart audio. Ground. Positive. And our video signal. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, honestly, when you're live streaming by yourself, at least for me, I find that I feel the need to talk a lot more if I don't have some sort of background. And you guys know I talk enough already. So, yeah. Little entertainment allows me a little bit more freedom to think and take my time, as opposed to feeling like I just have to be constantly providing entertainment. So. Alright, so that's got the VTX taken care of. Let's go ahead and knock out the camera.
Stay
You gotta know I'm all yours. But when I say what's that about, you start slurring your words. Tell me why you have to seem so distant when I'm holding you. Your fingertips are drifting away, and I fucking love how it hurts. Why do I, baby, why do I love the way you always leave me? Why do I, baby, why do I love the touch but never love the feeling? Why do I, baby, why do I love the way you always leave me? Why do I, baby, why do I love the touch but never love the feeling? Why do I, baby, why
Another little quick tip, guys. Always make sure your wire, like when you're resoldering connections and stuff, make sure that you've actually still got enough wire sticking out. You know, don't be afraid to trim something or retin it or redo something if you need to do it. It doesn't have to be, you know, exactly like it was per se, as long as it's as good or better at the end of the day is what's important. So. Now, I can figure out what I did with that RX pigtail. There it is.
watching it end again and again? I feel it in waves, you follow me, drifting to places I should leave, so close to the edge.
Okay, there's ground.
Something so perfect. We were too scared to take the leap, missing the way we used to be. Let me go. Left me in this mess I'm falling. Never know. Can't find a reason why. Can't get any closer. Can't find a reason why.
Telemetry was yellow, right? Yep.
Try to forget all that we had. I'm rolling like water in
Okay.
the sea. The memories crashing into me. So close to the edge of something so worth it.
Yeah, exhilarating. It's a rooster. What's up, Tri-Sticks? What's going on, buddy? Quad farm in the house. Enoch, it's built, buddy. Been built. It's right here. I'm waiting on crossfire stuff from Trappy. That's a whole nother discussion that I would prefer not to have on a live stream. So that's got the VTX, the camera, the RX, everything is hooked up. Now all we have left are the motors and the signal wires. And hopefully this one will arm. I know, Enoch, I was trying to get it set up like perfectly. In the 32-bit stuff, to be frank, I've not really done a whole lot of. I wanted him to be able to pull it out and just have it operating with his crossfire and everything. So I have been taking a little more time than normal on it for that reason. But I'll shoot him a DM and see if he wants me to just send it over to him. I'm going to the post today anyway. So. get it out today.
We couldn't get any closer.
That one.
We couldn't get any closer.
Negative. And let's see. Currently, it's 3.4.0, I believe, atomic. Yeah, it's beta flight. And actually, I did downgrade because I know people have been having some problems out of 3.4. And so I did drop down to 3.3 just to see if by chance that would fix the error, but unfortunately it didn't.
Living in the same routine, like the seasons I'm on repeat. It's a long way down. Trying not to follow suit.
Go.
The color, I'll change the shade of it.
The problem was originally atomic. This CL Racing F4S would not. It was basically saying no gyro, so it was intermittently arming and not, intermittently working and not. So we're just swapping flight controller out.
I know I'm holding on to this, holding on. Don't let me repeat it. Don't let me repeat it.
Okay, let's see what we got. What's up, Flying Ryan? Ain't seen you in a while, buddy. How you doing?
Fast forward a year or two.
Josie, one of the ways that I've salvaged XT60 pigtails in the past is charging cables. Like if you've got a parallel charging cord or something like that that you're not really using, it might have a whole bunch of XT60 pigtails on it.
I learned to hate. Forgot your names. Fear the struggle to follow on. Need to focus to prove you're wrong. I'm not wrong. I know I'm holding on to this. Holding on. I know I'm holding on to this.
Flying Ryan, so this is going to be at the I.O. Double A, I know you're going to be there, right? Yeah, at the rookie track. You guys bear with me, I'm going to move the mic for a second. jamming music on this channel.
I said I like it like that.
I said I like it like that.
All right. Yeah, tell me about it, Quad Farm. I'll give you guys a rundown of what all I've got to work on right now. It's quite a bit. I need to apologize to some people because I got a lot of business really fast and did not really calculate some of the build's timing correctly, so wasn't really honestly prepared for it, or I had no expectation of that happening. So but yeah, now that we're going live again, a lot more that will change, so be able to start kicking some stuff out pretty quick here. Thankfully, we got the setup going again. I'm just gonna touch up a couple of these solder joints that I'm not happy with. There we go. So now we start plugging some stuff back in. One thing I do like to do before I put power to the board, look it over, guys. Make sure you know, flick some solder somewhere. 1 second, my little boy's hollering. Sorry about that, guys. Little man wanted to spend a little time with me, so check this out real quick. See if we're arming, hopefully, and we'll go from there. Let's see. What's up, Joe Stan, the man in the house? So, here's our RX. And our VTX. Camera's already plugged up. One more quick look. Okay, I don't see any blobs. I don't see anything crazy. Hopefully, this will solve our problem. So go ahead and put the VTX back in place. Go. What's up, Scott? No worries, Tattoo Rod. Thanks for stopping in, brother. Have a good day. Alright, so let's get you guys over here to... What is it? That one? Yeah. Alright, it's doing something, that's good. So because we made our little cheat sheet pretty easy, we go in here to ports, set up UART1, serial RX, UART3, smart port, UART4, TBS smart audio, save, reboot. Down to config, check and see what's set up in here. We'll leave all this good stuff the way it works for right now. S-bus. Telemetry on. Air mode on. Actually, before I do any of this, duh. Yeah, I saw the one chat. 3-3. So we will probably put 3-4 on it. I'm searching for the lost and found, but you don't care, you're unaware. Keep moving like the scars aren't even there. It's in the air like a blazing flare. Just stare 'cause the flames will burn us. I thought you were the one for me. That's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. Kiss your head when you cried for me. Hold your hand while the pain was over. Keep you warm by the roaring sea. You meant the world to me. I'll let you guys with these. Oh, a UART. Pad on the board. It's think of it like a line of communication, like a serial line. So let's see. I guess almost like a USB port on a computer or something. Instead of having plugs, you wire it directly, but it's got an input and output. It can send communication, but two ways, basically. There we go, the DFU. Yeah, no problem, Quad Farm. Think of it like this. Anything that actually talks. So when you've got, for instance, your transmitter, it's telemetry data, voltage, current, all those things, they're changing over time, right? They're constantly updating. So anytime you've got something like that and it needs to kind of be looking at it at all times, sending that data out somewhere back and forth, communicating, those sorts of things, that's what UARTs are used for. And it's basically something that, you know, my guess anyway would be that hopefully in the future, maybe a year, 2 years, 5 years, who knows, a lot of these peripherals will be built into the board maybe, and so then the UARTs wouldn't be necessary. So yeah, Dave, that's a good way to look at it, like a slot in a PC motherboard, like put in a Ethernet card or anything like that, you know, just the ability to add and take away things. Alright, now let's go back in here and do this again. Serial. Smarty port. Smart audio. Now that we're on 3.4. Yeah, no problem, Quad Farm. That's what we're all here for, all to help each other out, my man. Yeah, let's see. Okay. GPS, right? That return to home feature. That's interesting. Huh. Gyros are off already. In 3-4. Huh. Yeah, no problem, Dave. It has been a little while, buddy. Been focused on other things. Don't worry, I'm getting hopefully back into being focused on this now. So I've got some other things in the works too. I don't know if I should talk about them yet, but you guys know how I am. Okay, so RX is working. Good, 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 good. Let's go to Modes tab. Set up an arm action. Joe Stan, I'm not using any GPS on this, but Test mentioned GPS. You might talk to him about it. Okay, if you look here, guys, under the OSD, what I was talking about initially, close flight or warnings, arming, disable, where is it? Somewhere there's a warning, a selector you can do. May just be warnings. Let's see, average cell, GPS, debug, pitch. I don't know about you guys, but I like knowing the quads disarm. Let's see here. Okay. Plug a lipo into that bad boy. Maybe. Maybe not. We get beat. See what it'll tell us. Low battery. I can handle that. Motors are spinning, guys. Motors are spinning. Holy crap. Alright, just ignore the beeping for a minute, guys, but let me switch this here. And look at that. The motors work. They spin. Holy crap. We're armed. Sweet. So there we go. We went from a quad with a flight controller that would arm only intermittently to a quad with a flight controller that appears, at least currently, to arm as much and little as we like. To test that out, we're gonna try and unplug it, plug it in, try to get it to malfunction. Nope. Sweet. Our customer will be very, very happy with that. So, cool. I will probably, just so you guys know, I'll probably look this thing over one more time, kind of tidy it up, you know, tuck the wires, make sure everything's nice and pretty, and then we'll get it in the post today. Mary, if you're still watching, oh, hold on. That one, yeah. Here's your box of goodies. It's actually got your name on it. And that'll go out today. And Enoch, you could tell Bean, there is his quad. As you can see, it's built. Ready to roll. Just about, anyway. And for the love of thank God, there's his crossfire and his diamond antenna. So, freaking mess getting that. And anyway, so yeah, as far as what we've got going on the bench, or what you guys can be looking for in the future, we've got an Oblivion that I'm working on. I did kind of a custom canopy job here on it. I actually did pull the flight controller out of that to put in this guy, so it is on hold, at least temporarily, till I get another flight controller in from Armattan. And let's see, I've got another Chameleon TI that I'm working on as well. It's going to be SpedX 30 amp individual ESCs and fully brain powered with the brain PDB. Yeah, really looking forward to that, actually. Hardwell, if you're watching, I'm still bringing your top plate by, buddy. It's right here. I'll be over there in a little bit when I go to the post. But we've got, as far as stuff we're fixing for people, I've got Pidget Squad here, which I just started looking at last night. It's got a Helio in it, so we definitely got to try to get that working good for Pidget. And I've got another quad I'm building for a gentleman off of Facebook that, in testing, the VTX went out, so I'm gonna have to swap and put a Unify in it, I guess. But it was the Emax stack, so I'm just gonna put I think I'm just gonna swap it with the Unify instead of that stock Emax whatever. That way I'll have smart audio too. And then for me personally, my Remix has a broken arm. Boo. My Reverb has got a crack in the I don't know, because you know how guys know how these plates are, like the reverb top and bottom are all staggered or whatever, but I guess it's considered the top rear? Hold on, let me look. Yeah, like the top rear, the little inset portion right here. You can see I super glued the hell out of it. It's still flying and it's not getting any jello, so I'm gonna fly it till I break it. But yeah. Yes, it's time for me a new quad too, but geez Louise, I got so much stuff to do, it'll probably be a month before I'm able to build myself something, so I'm hoping this reverb will squeeze out and keep flying at least long enough for me to get that TI built. That TI will be the... yeah, no doubt, Joe. That TI will be the first new quad I've had since this reverb, which was my Christmas quad, if you guys remember, so... looks like about once a year old Chris gets a new quad. That's all right. So, anyhow, you guys got any questions or want to talk or anything? Or is that it? We done? You tell me. Who wants to know what? Oh, tonight, Drone Disorder, what, 10 o'clock I think? They're going to have Bardwell on. Show those guys some love. No stress, no drama, no need for none of it. Let's see. Atomic, yeah bro, we can have a chat for sure. I may not be able to do voice right away because I've got to get to the post. I've got to finish up this and get it packed up and posted today, and as well as a couple other things, and I have to get them shipped today. It's Friday, so I got to get it out today. But we can definitely talk at some point, man. Just hit me up on the Discord. Speaking of, I'll drop my Discord link in here, guys. It's not something that I didn't create this Discord to have like some huge back-end community thing. I don't mind if that's what it turns into, but it's not really what I made it for. Made it just for guys to have a place to come and like kick it while we're maybe in the show or after the show, or if you've got stuff you want to see, whatever, you can come there and whatever. If it turns into a community, that's great, but I personally am not I'm not the type of person that can stay on Discord all the time, and it's just not, it doesn't work for me personally. I've got a lot going on and I'm super busy all the time. So although I've been on it more recently, I think, than ever. So I'm trying to get in the habit of using it. So it's a great communication tool. It just really reminds me of old school AOL, and like, I don't know why, but my mind has some sort of mental stigma with that. So it's weird. I don't know. I'm weird, guys. You guys know I got all kinds of mental issues. So as long as that link still works, Quad Farm. We had some issues, so I had to make a new one. But if it doesn't, just hit me with a DM on Facebook, bro. And you know. Now, the link I just put in there should always work, yes. The link I just dropped. So, cool. All right. Well, let's give you guys a couple more shouts out. And, let's see. We got Atomic, Double A, Nightbot. What's up, Nightbot? I got Dave, Hazard, Joe Stan, John Jordan, Josie, Michael, Mindman TV, Narrow Deep, Quad Farm. What is good? So, that's it, guys. We're going to head out. Just want to say thanks and keep your eyes peeled. I can't say that I'll be streaming stuff like this every day, but I'm going to try, and the FPV How To kind of thing is just going to be literally random, so I'm not going to schedule it. I'm just going to do it whenever I can. As far as something where you guys can know every week at this time and so on, I'm working on something, but I almost had something finalized and something else kind of happened. I got messaged in something from, I don't know, I won't go into detail, but really exciting stuff is possible. So kind of put a hold on what I was doing, and I'm in talks with another party on some other stuff. So we'll see how that goes. But either way, you guys can look forward to, at minimum, this. And of course, I'll be doing some other things. So love you guys. Till next time, kick ass, go rip. It's Friday. Freaking charge up your packs and go rip with a smile on your face. Because honestly, at the end of the day, guys, we're flying little carbon fiber toys. It's not that serious. Love y'all.